Hi, and welcome to another CRIISP Growth Labs interview. Today, we have a very special guest joining us, Alicia Lykos, the owner and founder at Red Wolf Group. Our topic for today's discussion is optimizing the workforce for high performance and growth. Welcome, Alicia.
Thank you, Rhythm. It's so nice to be here.
Amazing. Now, to start off, as a founder of Red Wolf Group, could you share the story behind the company's inception and how it actually aligns with the needs of startup founders and CEOs?
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, I founded the group myself, so as a founder, but my whole HR career, since previous I was a HR director, I had the same problem when dealing with organizations looking to scale and grow, and it was really around their people. It became the biggest blocker for them. When I went and founded my own business and started to acquire lots of sort of small and medium-sized businesses, the same problems were turning up, is that management capability, not knowing how to recruit and hire the right person for the right role, unable to get that team dynamics working and really firing on all cylinders. And it became a real stopper for growth for those organizations. So that's why I started the business, and that's really where we specialize, is helping organizations scale and grow and really optimize the people side of their business, because it can be a huge blocker for many organizations because people are complex and they're hard to understand and know how to manage properly. And for many founders, you know, it's a really hard part. You know, they're great at what they do, great at their product, great at their knowledge, and then, oh, I've got to scale the business. I've got to learn how to manage a team and drive performance. It's just a different skill set.
Absolutely. And Red Wolf Group emphasizes the importance of understanding people through data and science. We have experienced that firsthand at Wholesale Investor as well. So can you share some insights on how can startup founders and CEOs effectively implement this approach to fuel the growth of their businesses?
Well, look, I mean, the key thing we talk about is getting really clear on the core of your organization. And we talk about the core being that company purpose, you know, not just your vision, but why do you exist? And that's really important if you're a founder, because if you don't know why the business exists, your staff won't be able to get behind it and get motivated. And the research tells us that people need to be motivated by the why. So we help organizations get clear on that purpose so that staff can get clear on it. And then we look at things like the employee value proposition. Why should people come and work for you beyond, you know, cool product or, you know, innovation, but why should I come and work for you versus all the other companies out there? And then we also look at the values of the organization. How do you expect people to turn up and behave? And what are those behaviors you want to encourage and support and cultivate to drive the right culture? And once we get clear on your core, we then start to look at, well, how do we attract the right people? And we use a lot of data and science to do that. We use a tool called predictive index. And then we also look at how can we promote your organization? We do video content for you, which is all about your employee experience. And then moving into, well, how do we inspire you? How do we motivate staff to retain them? Because one of the biggest challenges of scaling a business is churn. If your staff are leaving, you've got to not only backfill them, but then look at recruiting new roles and which roles should I be recruiting for? So we help organizations retain the top talent that they have through their employee experience. And it sounds technical, but it actually can be simplified for small style businesses and find those unique selling points. And then lastly, how do we grow and develop your talent? Because in the Australian labour market at the moment, acquiring skills is almost impossible. You've really got to develop skill and capability from within. So we help organisations develop talent, and we do that through a sister business of ours called Red Wolf Academy, which is about developing management, leadership, and really essential skills.
Absolutely. These are excellent insights, Alicia. Thank you for sharing them. Now, given the talent shortage that we see in Australia, the rising inflation and the salary pressures organizations are facing as well, can you share some insights on how can businesses navigate this complex landscape?
Look, I mean, the challenge is, you know, as interest rates rise and, you know, people go, oh my God, how am I going to pay my mortgage? The first place they turn is to their employer. How can I earn more money? And that is going to be a real pressure for organisations, certainly in Australia in the next sort of 12 to 18 months. We will be navigating that headache. The reality is we can't, as organisations, we can't continue to overpay staff because we will not be able to survive this time. So we then have to look outside those, just money motivators, and we have to look at those lifestyle indicators. What are things that people would tolerate to stay motivated beyond the paycheck? Yes, we need to pay people appropriately, but what are those employee experiences? What do our staff value? How do we keep them motivated? And often, if we can just meet their needs of financial, we can start to look at then how do we motivate them around their employee experience? Is it the way they're rewarded and recognized? Is it around the health and lifestyle? Is it about, the fact they've got psychological safety at work and the people they work with, they've got great, healthy relationships with, and that's more important than working for a toxic organization. So, and also, what if the company is investing some of that money into my growth and development? So instead of, I want a $20,000 pay increase, I might get $5,000 allocated to me for training and development that will make me more valuable in the next 2 to 3 years. So we're getting organizations to think a little bit more strategically and proactively around this salary pressure that many organizations are facing.
That's very sound advice, Alicia, indeed. Now, in your experience, what are some common challenges that startup founders and CEOs face when it comes to talent optimization, and how does Red Wolf Group address these challenges?
Look, I think as business founders, they've got many challenges, right? And people is just one part of that challenge. And it's harder because it's so unknown, right? The people side of your business, people are complex. They're not as simple as a product or something that's a little bit more fixed. People are so flexible and so dynamic. And so what I see founders typically do is sort of keep navigating the unknown and hoping it will work out. And almost like we often see businesses when they're in absolute crisis mode versus in a more proactive mode. So I think for many business founders, it's going, yeah, you know what, I don't specialize in people and I'm trying to wing it. And that's the nature of us, I think, as people, we're trying to wing the people side of our business. But there's actually some fantastic tools and resources and upskilling that can happen within your organization to help you scale and grow. And what we often do is we help organizations do that so they don't need a HR person. So often it's like, oh, well, I'll hire a HR person to solve all my people problems, but that can come with quite a big salary. So we sort of view ourselves as that being able to actually, yes, hand over some of those people components, but more strategic. So you don't need HR from someone for people to go and talk to. We'd like to fix your cultural issues at the ground, so that you can sort of scale and grow up to, we've got clients who have 100 staff and don't have a HR person. So it absolutely can be done, and the money can be well spent and better spent. You wouldn't spend as much with us as you would with perhaps a HR director on a full-fledged salary.
Amazing. That's an important point. Now, what specific methodologies or tools does Red Wolf Group offer to help startup founders and CEOs make data-driven decisions when it comes to hiring, developing, and sustaining their teams?
Yeah, look, many businesses will be familiar with the concept of, people data, but it's often really confusing and overwhelming. It's like, oh, well, what people data is out there? And we use a range of tools and assessments. One of them, which is the most powerful, which we absolutely love, is the predictive index. And that's basically looking at what drives and motivates people. And then how do I tap into that to then align them to the right role? And we help companies profile the roles that they might need and then overlaying candidates to that. And because predictive index is so quick and easy to take, it only typically takes 5-6 minutes. We can do that in the recruitment process and have a speedy recruitment process. And we can also then use that information when we're managing staff. How do I motivate you? How do I communicate with you? If we train the managers in that tool, they can then go and do that for themselves, right? They can be more self-sufficient. And we talk about leading with confidence because we want managers in your organizations to lead their teams with confidence and for you to scale your business with that confidence. But it comes down to people data and understanding the person and what drives and motivates them. So we use predictive index along with a few other tools, but that's really the primary one because it's the most scalable, cost-effective tool on the marketplace.
Absolutely. And because our team has used predictive index as well, I can say firsthand from my experience that I saw the value that it brings, and I was actually very impressed with the results that I saw. It was so true to the point that everything that I saw about myself as well in the profile. Now, as a parting question, Alicia, looking ahead, what trends or emerging practices do you believe will have a significant impact on the growth and success of startups, and how is Red Wolf Group staying ahead of these developments to support its clients effectively?
Look, I think we're seeing the biggest challenge in the landscape at the moment is the skill shortage, and we're really referring to it as a skill crisis that's now occurring in the marketplace. Unemployment, record low. Yeah, all of the things we talked about, we call it the triple squeeze because there's so much going on for organizations. The skill shortage is real. Acquiring talent is getting more expensive. And the reality is businesses need to do something about it now. And even if you're a small business, you've got to find ways to recruit potentially at a lower level and then develop that talent from within. And that's really where we specialize, is if you're hiring people that maybe don't have the right skills, but they've got the right behavior and the attitude and they're a good culture fit. You know, all founders will tell me, I can train them the rest. I can train them on the product. I can train them on the other bits. We can make sure that they get upskilled. But it is a leap of faith, and you've got to do that with support. And that's really where we kick in. And the second thing I'd say is that for businesses looking to scale and grow, it's leveraging AI and technology. And that's where we're also starting to weave in some programs and new programs looking at how do teams leverage AI to scale and grow and be more efficient. And yes, how do we use less people to get the same output by leveraging technology? So really this merge of AI and people and teams is what we're looking at for the future of work, because it's reality now, but many companies are kind of fumbling their way through it going, oh, should we use ChatGPT and how do we use it? And we're looking at actually how do we strategically look at your people strategy, your roles, where your growth is, and then how do we use AI and technology to maximize that growth with as few people as possible, really, because again, that starts to minimize costs and increases that efficiency for you as a founder.
Absolutely. Well, Alicia, thank you so much for sharing these valuable insights and on optimizing the workforce for high performance and growth. Your expertise and solutions that you offer with Red Bull Grow would certainly assist a lot of founders that we see in this space. And for anyone who would like to get in touch with Alicia, please see the details in the description of this video. Again, thanks again, Alicia, for your time for this interview.
Thanks, Rhythm.
Thank you.